Well, as we've been reporting this morning, the government scheme to pay homeless people to leave Auckland begins today. This is a scheme to pay $5,000 to people who are able to move out of Auckland. The Prime Minister is with us in the Auckland studio. Good morning to you.
Morning, Guy.
Thanks very much for coming in.
Pleasure.
What would a success look like in this regard? How many people are you expecting to take this up?
I think there's been initial registration of 130 people so far. So success is when somebody leaves, essentially vacates a Housing New Zealand or social house at the moment, allowing another family to go in and moves to somewhere that they actually want to be and suits their lifestyle.
Right. From reported comments from Paula Bennett, this was budgeted for about 150 families, $750,000. Is that roughly about right?
Yeah, this is where it looks like it's sitting at the moment. But the 3K to Christchurch, which is sort of equivalent sort of kind of concept, I think did a little bit better than they thought from memory.
Right. So would you be, which is a key question I imagine, would you be open to expanding this if others want it? Or is it capped at that 150 families?
I think that's the initial estimate, but in reality, it's not big money, which is why it was never really part of a big deal, actually, of her delegation. So the point is, yes, if more people wanted to take it and there were more houses for them to go to, we'd just move them.
So this isn't a game changer, though, in itself?
No, I don't think so.
Would it be not better to spend the money building extra houses in Auckland so people didn't have to move in the first place?
Yeah, so we're doing that. In reality, I think there's something like 900 new homes have been essentially acquired in Auckland, either through social housing and the income-related rents or through Housing New Zealand homes. So I don't know exactly how they measure all of these things, but the advice they give me is about 130 to 135 people a week go into social housing in New Zealand. A lot of those are in Auckland. So yes, the bulk of the money, $200 million in the budget, was for new social housing. This is small change.
Okay. If we look at this announcement, this was announced the day before the budget. It seemed to catch Bill English a little bit unawares. It didn't seem to be highly organised, to be fair.
Yep.
And Paula Bennett seems to have been under a considerable amount of pressure in that portfolio and a few hiccups even by her own admission.
Yep.
Are you satisfied with the way she's handling this portfolio?
I am. I have huge confidence in Paula, but there's a couple of things, isn't there? Firstly, when you get a minister under a little bit of pressure, either from the media or the opposition, a combination of all those things, unfortunately it never seems to happen once or two. You just get a lot of different things. It might be a function of just more pressure piling on, more little things that sort of come along the way. So I don't know, that's the fickle finger of fate, but somewhere along the line that's how it happens a little bit.
But she had this conversation with Huri Moana Dennis from Te Puia Marae. He told her about the police investigation, and then she went back and told a number of her staff about that. Was that appropriate to do that?
I don't know the exact sequence of how it got from where that information was given.
I've heard her say that she did tell and discuss it with staff.
I think she did. I
Should
just don't
she
know
have
whether
done that?
I don't know whether it was the other member. But look, in principle, no. Look, I think there was
So she made an error discussing that too loosely with her staff.
Well, there was a sense it was more widely known than maybe it was, and I think that was the mistake with the staff member. But anyway, they shouldn't just be they shouldn't be talking to other people about that stuff.
She visited the marae on Friday.
Tuesday, I think.
Tuesday, was it? Okay,
yes.
Last week. Did she report back that there was a 16-year-old girl with cancer who was staying at the marae?
No, but my understanding, and I could be completely wrong, but my understanding of that case, the way I've sort of had bit of information, is that I think they only went there very recently, like I think only Thursday, but certainly by Friday, Housing New Zealand had identified them and got them home, and they're moving on Tuesday. So
Right.
I might be wrong, but that was my understanding of the way it went. It reads a bit differently, but I think there's been a post put up by Te Puia Marae saying that they had accommodation that fell through. They went out to the marae, as I understood, I think Thursday.
Are you surprised at this, though, Prime Minister? I mean, when we spoke about this a month ago, when this debate first started raging, you told me, you said, look, if there are people living in cars with kids, they should go to WINZ.
Yeah.
In the interim, we've got so many cases of people who are living in cars. Sometimes their parents are working. This girl has got cancer, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, what sort of what sort of country is it now that the reliance that these people have to go to is a marae and not the state?
Okay, so I still think it's a very, very good country. Secondly, I remember, the particular conversation we had, and I said, look, in the first instance, people should go to work and income. I still stand by that because that's the government agency delivery vehicle. I mean, where else do they go within government? It's not to say that government's the sole delivery vehicle, though. I mean, of course, there are the city missions, the churches, the NGOs, in this case, the marae.
Yeah. Are you a little bit embarrassed, though, that the marae has to be looking after 30 families and the government can't?
I think the numbers are small. It's smaller numbers of people, and we've been helping them. So the MSD are there every day with their people, and they're the ones transitioning them out into more permanent accommodation.
We're coming up to the 8 o'clock news,
Sure.
but I want to know whether you are going to do more in terms of emergency housing, pop-up housing. You did talk a little bit about that.
Potentially, because if you go back to the 5K and it caught Bill by surprise and things like that, fair enough. Yeah, it's true. The timing, he wasn't quite sure on the timing. But what actually happened was early part of last year, Paula did a stock take and a review with the sector of all the things that were required. She, funnily enough, was ahead of it a bit with the 41 million before it got a lot of attention.
But we might see more.
Well, part of the potential pop-up housing was in that sort of
You
area.
might do more on that. Thank you so much for joining us, Prime Minister John Key.